Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to being truly well-informed. We take all the articles, the research, the notes, and we pull out the most important nuggets for you. Today, we're zeroing in on some breaking legislation. Pretty significant, actually. Our mission, well, it's to unpack the specifics of this quite controversial bill. We want to look at its purpose and, the different views around it, and we're basing this on a recent report from our sources, specifically something the House just passed, the Veterans Second Amendment Protection Act. Okay, so let's unpack this then. What exactly is this act, and who's involved here?
Right. So our sources, the Conservative Tribune is one. They reported the bill passed on a Wednesday, and it's expected to be signed into law by Donald Trump. Its core purpose, well, it's really about protecting the due process rights of military veterans, making sure those rights are, kept safe.
Okay, due process. That sounds important, but how does the bill actually do that? What specific situation is it trying to fix? Because it feels like something was happening before that this is correcting.
Yeah, exactly. It directly tackles a long-standing VA policy. It's our Board of Veterans Affairs. This policy, it automatically put veterans who got disability benefits and also used a fiduciary to help manage that money.
Yeah.
Put them onto a list for the FBI background check system, the NICS list.
Automatically, just for using a fiduciary.
Automatically.
Yeah.
And, well, that effectively stripped them of their Second Amendment rights. No judge, no court involved. So this bill basically prevents the VA from doing that anymore.
Yeah.
Stops them banning veterans from getting a weapon just because they need a fiduciary.
Okay, so the principle then is shifting away from that automatic report towards something more individual, case by case.
Precisely. Yeah. If it becomes law, the bill is really clear. A veteran using a fiduciary cannot be stripped of their constitutional rights unless, and this is the key part, a judicial authority first finds they pose a danger to themselves or others.
Okay. So a judge has to actually make a finding of danger.
Exactly. It puts the emphasis back on individual judicial review. A court looks at the specific person, the specific situation. It's not just, a blanket ban based on needing help with finances. It's about that personal check.
That's a really important difference. Does this connect to anything broader? Any other trends or laws we've seen recently? It kind of feels like part of a bigger conversation.
It definitely does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our source points out it's a similar follow-up to a resolution that passed last month.
Mm-hmm.
And that resolution, it did something very similar for Social Security recipients with mental disabilities. It got rid of a requirement for them to be automatically entered into the FBI background check system.
Okay, so there's a pattern here.
Right. If you look at the bigger picture, it shows this consistent focus on reinforcing due process, especially, where mental health status or needing administrative help intersects with fundamental rights, protecting those rights.
So what does this all mean then? I mean, gun rights debates are always intense. How did people line up on this specific bill? What were the arguments?
Well, yeah, strong opinions for sure. According to our sources, those who opposed measures like this, their argument was essentially people with a mental disability can't have guns. They can't even handle their paperwork. That's the kind of sentiment reported.
So the argument is if you need help managing money, you inherently can't handle a firearm safely.
That seems to be the implication, yeah. But proponents of this bill, they push back hard. The source quotes them saying things like, you can't take people's rights away, and you can't just blanket everybody, take them away. They really insisted that every situation has to be looked at case by case by case.
Right. A fundamental disagreement, really, on whether needing financial help automatically equals being unfit to exercise a constitutional right.
Exactly.
Okay, so what about the NRA, the National Rifle Institute? They often weigh in. What was their take after this passed?
They did. They put out a statement pretty quickly. They emphasized that the act ensures due process rights for all veterans.
Mm-hmm.
Their whole message was really focused on that. Due process, that's what it's all about.
And their reasoning.
Well, they elaborated on the core idea, stating pretty clearly that a veteran's need for assistance managing his money does not make him a threat to society.
Mm.
And they added something quite interesting. They said, if anything, a veteran admitting that he requires some help is an indication that he's smart and responsible.
Huh. That's a real reframing, turning needing help from a potential negative into a positive sign of responsibility.
Yeah, exactly. Shifting that perspective quite significantly. Instead of a disqualifier, it's framed as, being prudent.
Okay. So let's try and summarize the key takeaway for you, our listener. This deep dive, it's really shown how this Veterans Second Amendment Protection Act is trying to recalibrate things, redefine that balance between individual rights, specifically Second Amendment rights, and public safety concerns, especially for veterans who need financial help. It's a clear move towards prioritizing that individual judicial review over a sort of broad, automatic administrative restriction.
Right. And maybe this leaves you with an important question to think about. If needing help with finances is now being framed, at least in this context, as a sign of responsibility, not a disqualifier, what could this new act imply about how we understand constitutional rights more broadly, especially for those who served and might face, unique challenges afterward?
Definitely something to consider. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We really encourage you to keep exploring these complex issues, understanding the different sides and the impact they have. We'll see you next time.